Here's the thing about spending hundreds, or in many cases, thousands of dollars on audio gear. You don't just buy it, you tend to justify it. Well, you attempt to anyways, right? You tell yourself it's an investment. We secretly know it's not. You rationalize it as buy once, cry once. And you know you're likely gonna buy something again anyways. You calculate the cost per hour of enjoyment over 5 years until the numbers somehow start to make sense. But I can honestly tell you, after 2 months with the SMSL DO400 and the Meze 99 Classics, I set aside all the needless justifications and came to the realization how lucky we are in 2025 to have the quality of gear we have available today at all the different price points. The review today won't be about chasing the absolute best performance per dollar. It's about finding gear that makes you fall in love with your music collection all over again. And honestly, that might be worth more than any frequency response graph could ever tell you. Just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Matt Kuykendall. I review everything hi-fi, new and old, budget to outlandish, as well as many DIY designs. I'm also a contributing author for the Absolute Sound magazine, so I see a little bit of everything come through here. I see gear across all the price points, and I honestly love all the gear budget to high end. I always try to give everything its fair shake. The SMSL DO400 costs $499. And before you roll your eyes at another Chinese DAC, understand what the money actually buys you. This is a desktop DAC headphone amp that features a neutral tone that I found to prioritize dynamic range over any sound colorization. Pair that up with pitch black background silence, regardless of the input source, and now we're cooking with gas. A lot of you can likely relate to this one. If you've ever dealt with that subtle digital harshness that creeps in after, say, an hour of listening, you know, that subliminal fatigue that makes you just sort of want to be done.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
It's completely absent on this one. Here's the specs that may or may not matter to you. It uses a flagship ES9039 Pro DAC chip in a fully balanced configuration, delivering 32-bit 768 kHz and DSD 512 support. The signal-to-noise ratio hits over 130 decibels over XLR with THD below 0.0005. But more than raw numbers, the DO400 implements these specs intelligently. I would say this is one of the better offerings as far as connections and internal hardware decisions. A quick question for the community. What's your current DAC amp setup? I'm curious how this compares to what you're actually using. Are you using a traditional preamp or something like this that can serve as both in many but not all cases? Let me know down in the comments. What really sets the DO400 apart is its versatility. This one should have almost everything covered for the multifunction desk user, as well as someone who wants to use this in their main space. We have multiple digital inputs, including USB, coax, optical, I2S, and AES, plus Bluetooth 5.1 with LDAC support. The addition of the 4.4, 6.35, and XLR outputs for your headphone amp gives you a wide range of options for headphone compatibility as well. One of my favorite features for the desktop user is the programmable function button on the remote. A quick button push bounces you between the headphone out over to the pre-outs, which could be anything from a set of powered speakers to an amp powering anything passive. I appreciate the simplicity here and not having to dig through the menu system to get there. Or in some cases, on some other products, I've seen it where you actually have to plug your headphones, and then that'll send it out to the pre-outs. I like this method a lot better using a remote. I've tested this with everything from efficient IEMs to power-hungry headphones, and the DO400 has a great ability to make every headphone sound basically like itself, which seems like kind of an odd assessment. But as someone who is very much in the opinion that the strongest driver in sound is the endpoint, I like my amplifiers to exist, but not take over the space. The DO400 manages to find the sweet spot between accuracy and musicality, displaying exceptional resolution without sacrificing the emotional connection to your music. There are some filter options available as well that will definitely color the sound. Think of things like tube modes, things along those lines. While that really isn't for me, it does give you some options if you like to spice things up beyond neutral. I touched on this on my last video, and I just want to quickly mention it again. A goal for the channel in 2025 is a very reasonable goal of 25,000 subscribers before the year end. But in all honesty, I want to blow that number out of the water. Please consider sending a subscription this way and joining the community. I have a lot of great content coming up. Thanks, I appreciate all of you taking time to watch my reviews. Now let's talk about these really good looking headphones, the Meze 99 Classics, and how they pair up with the DO400. These come in at around $349 currently, but I do actually have a discount available that I'll link down below for some additional savings. The 99 Classics sit in this interesting space where the price makes them an enticing purchase. They're not going to require you to sell your firstborn child to afford them, which is nice. And I featured them with the DO400 because I like this pairing budget-wise, keeping everything under $1,000 in this case. The build quality is immediately apparent. It's better than this price point typically carries. Generally, we see a lot of plastic, but these actually have a really refined look. Real walnut wood cups, silver fittings, a simple black steel headband, and a couple neatly braided cable options. These aren't trying to look futuristic or gamer focused. They look like what headphones should look like, in my opinion. A crafted type of product rather than a pile of melted or formed plastic. The 99s are comfortable with moderate clamp pressure and soft memory foam pads. That tends to create a warm but not overly hot feeling during use. I've worn these on long listening sessions without fatigue, and fitment was crucial on these, and a great importance to myself as one of the best features is a really good omnidirectional mic. No one wants to be sitting there on a long Teams call while thinking that their ears are burning up or suffering from an uncomfortable ear pad. Where things get a little bit interesting and in some ways controversial is the sound on these. The sound is slightly on the warm side of neutral, and treble has just a slight roll off, but just as well always intelligible. In other words, these are tuned for musical enjoyment, not measurement perfection. This ties back into my comment earlier about the DO400 letting the headphones do their thing. Expect a spacious soundstage, warmer leaning mids, and clear vocal definition. It's a great pairing for this amp. The DO400's precision provides the perfect foundation for the 99 Classics warmth. The Meze taps into the music's soul, while the SMSL ensures every detail is preserved without coloration. The 99 Classics are good on detail, but not the gratuitous sort where the tonal balance is artificially tipped up. You get a good sense of what's going on in the music without it being taken down to the bone. Paired with the DO400's exceptional resolution and grainless background, you hear everything that matters without feeling like you're analyzing the music instead of enjoying it. Do you guys prefer an analytical or musical sound signature when you're listening on headphones? I'm genuinely curious about your preferences here. Let me be completely honest with you guys about the limitations because no reviewer should pretend perfect gear exists. So we're going to touch on both the 99 and the DO400. The 99s aren't without their faults. The bass sometimes draws a little bit too much attention to itself. If you're a bass light purist, these might not be your cup of tea. For myself, I think it's a very engaging listen, but I just want you to be aware of that. Some might find the SMSL DO400 a bit too conservative in its sound signature. It could come across as flat to some ears. If you want that artificial excitement or hyped up frequencies, you should probably look elsewhere or possibly find your preferred tone through any of its filters. In my opinion, it's not a flat sound. I would describe it as more of a true sound, which is it's the type of sound that a lot of people are searching for. But here's the thing about most of these criticisms. They're only problems if you're chasing, more the measurements instead of the musical enjoyment. One person's perfect sound is another's annoyance, so my suggestion is to always experiment when you can to get a better idea for your preferences. That or buy products that offers, ways to tailor the sound to your taste. Why this all matters in 2025. I think we're living through this unprecedented moment in audio history. The DO400 packs enough power to drive all headphones while maintaining sonic refinement that seemed impossible at this price range just years ago. The 99 Classics represent craftsmanship and materials that were boutique territory not long ago, now at mainstream prices. Getting into real-world use cases, this is how I would envision using the DO400 myself. The DO400 sits connected via coax to my Volumio Motivo streamer, another option being USB to PC for streaming and PC audio, optical to my PL200 CD player. The Buchart Anniversary 10 powered speakers handle all of the room listening, all controlled by the included remote. That remote might seem like a small detail, but having volume and input selection from across the room transforms how you interact with this system. Features like the quick changeability from the headphones to pre-outs is key here for using this beyond a desk. A quick tip on that setup would be if you're using this with active or passive speakers, the second output, XLR or RCA, can be used as a sub out. You can choose to either turn on a single output, XLR or RCA, or activate both. Wrapping up my pairing today, the 99 Classics handle everything. Music, morning conference calls. If you have these at a desk, occasional gaming sessions, there's a lot of flexibility here. You can use these in all kinds of different ways for daily usage. Who do I think this one's really for? This setup is sort of perfect for people who understand and appreciate good measurements, don't automatically assume it'll equal musical satisfaction. The DO400 is a tech magic offering essentially state-of-the-art DAC performance, while the 99 Classics are for those who demand an emotional experience when listening to music. For the right listener, they deliver the proper engagement, and like I said many times before, that's exactly what many end users want. At around $850 for the pair, the SMSL DO400 and Meze 99 Classics represent an interesting pairing in modern audio. Gear designed for musical enjoyment first, technical bragging rights second, even though it has very strong presence there with the DO400. For a sub $400 pair of headphones though, to invoke an emotional response, it's impressive. And paired with a DAC amp that stays completely out of the way yet gives you everything you need, you get something that exceeds typical audio gear value offerings. If this honest look at audio gear helped to clarify where possibly some of your audio dollars should go, check out one of my other videos right up here. I have everything from DIY, vintage, budget, expensive gear, basically something for everyone. And let me know in the comments, what's your experience with gear that prioritizes musical engagement over technical perfection? Talk to you guys later. See ya.